I want to retract one of the statements I made towards the end of the last video about the windows, how it's almost close to perfection. Let me tell you guys, it is perfection. Driving this vehicle, I actually thought about it a lot last night. Driving this vehicle when you're up in the cabin, it's nothing short of an incredible experience. It truly is like nothing else. These doors, the lines, it's an absolute beautiful view out any window in this vehicle. The rear glass, it's currently lifted up. Again, it is just absolutely just the perfect dimensions. When you look out the rear view mirror, it lines up perfectly with the glass up there to see what's behind you on the road. So again, when it comes to visibility, it's absolutely breathtaking, guys, driving this vehicle. One of the comments that I read online was that the vehicle has limited cargo space. Let me tell you guys, there's a ton of options. You have literally the whole roof. I actually saw some crazy Russian guy strap a car to the roof of his Hummer H2. The rear of the vehicle, tons of cargo space. One of the comments I read online was the vehicle has extremely high maintenance costs. Now these vehicles are 20 years old at this point. Some of the vehicles actually a few years older than that. With that being said, once you get the vehicle up to speed, all right, you have the legendary LS 6.0 engine. This is widely considered one of, if not the most reliable vehicle of all time. Once you get the vehicle up to speed, literally, there's like literally absolutely no or minimal maintenance costs. Here's a funny comment from Clown World, is that the Hummer H2 is not off-road ready. This is absolutely insane, all right? The H2 hosts a fully box frame, stock 35-inch tires, rear locker is standard. Now the H1 is an absolute beast. The H2 can do pretty much most of what the H1 can do. The H1 can climb a 22-inch wall. The H2 can climb a 16-inch wall. Everything the H2 can do, the H3 can do identically. Approach angle, 42 degrees in the front, 37 degrees in the rear. You can charge into water, 6 inches of water at 40 miles per hour. You can charge into 16 inches of water, or forward 16 inches of water at 20 miles an hour. The vehicle can also ford 24 inches of water at 5 miles per hour. This vehicle does have the adventure package, which is the rear of the vehicle will actually rise up by another 2 inches. Inside the Hummer H2, the traction control system, the technology in this vehicle is absolutely incredible. Inside the H2, you have the TC2 traction control system. What it is an upgraded version of the Hummer H1's legendary TT4, that's Torque Track 4 system. I've hit black ice at 70 miles per hour, guys. Let me tell you, probably no doubt saved my life. If I was any other vehicle, I probably could have been game over. It's absolutely incredible. Until you drive or have driven one of these vehicles and experienced the traction control system in the vehicle, it truly is like nothing else. The H2 can climb a 60% grade at 5 miles per hour. And I'm saying the next part, it can handle around a 45-degree side slope at 5 miles per hour. Now it's rated in the owner's manual at 5 miles per hour. I said 45 because it was a Hummer dealership. The construction crew accidentally made it 45 degree. The Hummer H2 handled it because of its wide wheelbase. Because of the width of the vehicle, the H2 actually handled a 45-degree side slope with no issues. So it's somewhere around 45 to 50 degrees side slope. I've read online how the Hummer H2 has a terrible turning radius. Let me tell you guys, when you're driving this vehicle, you wouldn't believe how great the turning radius is in this machine. It really is smooth. Some people have made the comment on how the Hummer H2 is another bad product built by GM. The Hummer H2 is it's a great product built by the the people at AM General, all right? The Hummer H2 plant was at Mishawaka, Indiana. The people who made the Hummer H2s are also the same people who built or who build the American Humvees. And another comment that I've read online, this is quite common actually, is that the Hummer H2 is just a Tahoe frame or an avalanche frame, something along those lines. The Hummer H2 frame, it's a three-piece frame. The front, it's actually the Hummer H2 started off as a suburban frame, and then through tons of modifications, it ended up with, the front has a GM 2500 series utility frame, again heavily modified. The midsection is all brand new, all right. In the rear of the vehicle is a heavily modified GM 1500 frame. It's extremely heavy duty, this frame. I've read online many comments talking about how these vehicles are extremely difficult to drive. Let me tell you guys, when you're up inside the vehicle, all right, when you're up in the cabin, it is so smooth. It feels like you're driving, you know, a mid-size SUV like the Mitsubishi Outlander right there, just with a little extra weight in the wheel. Without being biased as an owner, I'll tell you guys, driving this vehicle, it has been the best driving experience of my entire life. The views out the window, how smooth the wheel feels, it's absolutely an incredible experience. I've actually read some comments online how the Hummer H2 suspension is absolutely horrific. Let me tell you guys, it is so smooth going down the road. It feels like you're floating when you're driving this vehicle. I wasn't able to verify this, but I did read online that the Escalade actually used the Hummer H2 suspension the following year. I've seen some people make comments on how the Hummer H2 is extremely tough in the city. I live downtown Pittsburgh. It really wasn't an issue driving this vehicle. Let me tell you what's tough driving in a city Mack truck. I've read several comments online how the vehicle is extremely uncomfortable. Let me tell you guys, you have heated seats. All right, both of these parts are heated right here. It's like being in your living room when you're driving this vehicle. That's what it feels like. The rear seats are actually, the base of the rear seat is heated as well. So again, I've had multiple people who've owned, you know, different vehicles, different walks of life, jump inside the H2, and one of the first things that they comment on is, wow, these seats are really comfortable. They're a lot more comfortable than my vehicle. I actually came across a YouTube dealer, car dealer, and he actually made a comment on how he loves the Hummer H2 seats, and this guy goes through literally hundreds of cars a year, and he said they're the most comfortable seats he's ever been in. I've talked about this in other videos. People say the Hummer H2 lacks modern day features. The actual H2 itself, it has every modern day feature, and actually has some features that aren't even available in modern day vehicles. I could literally make a whole video on that. I have power folding mirrors, heated mirrors, seats. The later models actually have Bluetooth, but if you want to upgrade to Bluetooth, you have that option. Incredible traction control system. I mean, there's actual vents to defog the windows. When this moonroof came out, it was actually the largest moonroof. I don't have one, but for those that do have moonroofs in their H2, it's the largest moonroof that came out at that time period. 4x4. Again, I told you guys about the TC2. The traction control 2 is absolutely incredible. You can upgrade all the bulbs to LEDs. So when it comes to like modern day features, actually some of the later H2s had heated steering wheels. I've got the 6-disc CD changer in mine, but there's a navigation unit, Hummer navigation unit that's actually out there. I actually view that as a bonus because I'm on screens all the time, and I actually like the idea of pressing buttons and selecting a disc. Rear DVDs in the headrests. There's actually some models that have a larger DVD player up top. So when it comes to modern day features, the H2 has just as many modern day features, and actually in some instances quite often it has more modern day features than vehicles in 2025. I've read online how parts, it's incredibly difficult to get parts for the vehicle. That's not true. The GM parts bin with this vehicle, this is the LS 6.0, widely considered one of the, or if not the most reliable engine of all time. They made like 100 million plus of these. Parts are readily available for the H2. There's actually dealerships, auto wrecking guys on eBay who break down these H2s and sell parts. JJ Auto Wrecking is incredible in Ohio. So when it comes to parts, again, you'll hear comments saying it's just a reskin Tahoe. You know, from 03 to 07, the GM parts bin, it's absolutely incredible. If you need a part for the H2, it's easy. Something breaks or something isn't working, boom, you can find the part and swap it out and you're good to go. Now, one of the comments, this is actually really common, is people talk about how these vehicles are extremely poorly built. There are several, and when I say several, I mean like hundreds of Hummer H2 owners out there on the forums who've taken these vehicles to 300, 400, 500,000 plus miles. One guy took an H2 to 627,000 miles, then got it switched over to a diesel. So if you ask any Hummer H2 owner out there, they will tell you that reliability, the guy's actually probably close to 700,000 miles now. If you ask any H2 owner out there, they will tell you that these vehicles have been nothing short of extremely reliable machines.